All right, everybody, here we are. We are back again for a 20-minute pop-up with my good friend Keith. He was on a little bit ago, and we talked about some scaling, but it was such good info. I wanted to bring him back. So another 20-minute live pop-up, guys, not 19, not 21, 20 minutes. Keith, let's go. We're going to talk about the 3 things that you must be doing in your real estate business to be successful. Let's go. What's number 1?
Good deal. Number 1, marketing.
Okay.
Not consistently marketing. If you don't have marketing, you don't have opportunities. If you don't have opportunities, you don't have contracts. If you don't have contracts, you don't have any money.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That was something that, I realized not as early as I probably should have, but yeah, we would get on this cycle of we would start marketing and then we would do our deals and then we would switch from acquisitions to dispositions and then transactions and title. And then we get a couple deals closed and we'd be like, where's our next deal? What do we do now?
Restarting the pipeline, restarting the clock is something that I see all the time, which is normal actually. As a newer entrepreneur, you're wearing kind of all the hats. You're the sales and marketing front end of the house, while simultaneously you're the fulfillment center, fulfilling everything that you've just done. But I think that if you want some regularity, both in your consistency and deal flow and cash flow, as well as regulating your emotions.
Yes.
Having consistency, building the pipeline. I understand. I have a great friend. I won't call her out because she's probably going to watch this, but she follows you. Great friend right now who's working on a flip, cut off her marketing and she's actually doing the flip. Do not recommend, by the way. No. However, she wanted to get the experience and anyway, she's in the flip and she stopped doing the marketing. And I said, listen, if you're going to not follow my direction in 2 different places, if you insist on doing the flip, at least continue running the marketing. Right. Because at the time she's doing all this work. And I'm like, you are not going to have a business to come back to once you're done with this deal. This is taking up all your time. Just take an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, and take in some leads, right? I understand that you're worried about the fulfillment on this, but you don't have to flip that next house. You can wholesale it. You can rent it. You can do whatever you want. But stopping the lead flow, dude, you restart the whole clock on building your pipeline, setting you back months every time.
I mean, it's hard enough. I mean, think of this like a locomotive on the train tracks. It takes so much work to push it and get momentum going and get it going so that you can get up those hills. But when you stop, you got to do all of that work all over again. It's so difficult when that wheel just comes to a complete stop. But I understand. I think we've all been in that spot, and without good guidance, it makes sense, right? Like, I don't want to waste money on marketing for leads when I'm not really ready. So I think that goes to, once you get out of that just extreme hustle bootstrapping phase, and that's where we're talking about building a business, right? Getting some regularity and trying to even things out.
Yeah. One other thing that I think that when people are doing this, they're not realizing that it's super ineffective to their leads. And what I mean by that is if you're hitting them super hard, like you're focused on the acquisition, the sales and marketing side, the front end of the house, whatever, and you're hitting them super hard every day, every other day, multiple times per week. And then you just fall off the freaking earth and you ghost them for 1 month, 2 months, 90 days. And then you come back and you're just hitting them. What? Like, that is super ineffective because we want to be top of mind. We want to be following up on a regular and consistent basis. We want to be having a true conversation. And this, I don't know the right.
My mother would say herky jerky, that kind of starting and stopping.
That's exactly right. You're like balls to the wall 1 second and then completely nothing but passivity the next second. It's very ineffective when it comes to converting a lead and being top of mind. If anything, if they do remember you, they're going to remember you as being the person who inconsistently blew up their phone and then ghosted them a week later.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And plus, and then you just get out of practice. You get out of practice of being on the phone, taking those calls. Because again, that's another thing that it takes some courage and some discipline to get in and do every single day. And when you stop doing it for 2 or 3 months, then it's like, oh God, I got to start making calls again. And you sort of got to break through that barrier, all over again. So yeah, 100%. Marketing, absolutely crucial, guys. Make sure that you never turn off, off that switch of incoming leads. Now, just I know before we go into number 2, let's talk about this a little bit. Do you think that's the first person that someone should hire? Somebody that can handle acquisitions?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, because everybody has a different answer. So I'm interested in yours.
So here's the thing. I think that there's largely 2 different types of people. People like you and I, great on the phones, great when it comes to sales and marketing, not so great on the fulfillment side.
Yeah,
probably not great when it comes to detail-oriented, repetitive, mundane or boring, or dare I say,
I'm terrible at it.
puke-worthy tasks. But other people, they thrive in that environment. And so my answer is actually not going to be, this is the right thing to do. I think that you need to know yourself. One of, kind of to bring back my Marine Corps roots, know yourself and seek self-improvement. This is kind of the same thing that I think it's Dan Martell is going to put you in a quadrant of, here's things that I'm really good at, things that I'm not good at, things that I enjoy doing, things that I do not enjoy doing. And the things that we need to delegate first is in that quadrant 4. I hate doing this and I suck at it. We'll find somebody who is naturally great at this. And so I think that, and here's the truth of the matter. My people, I don't hire a marketing person for my business. Right now I'm running, and for the last 5 years, I've ran PPC and PPL leads. And so the leads just come in, they're inbound leads. Prior to that, I was doing all the text message and the ringless voicemails and the cold calling and the direct mail and all of that stuff. And again, though, that was an agency that was doing that, not necessarily a hired person within my organization. For a hired person within the organization, I think that you're either going to hire a lead manager to take the intake, like the first call, gathering the information from the seller, or a transaction coordinator in order to fill whatever you suck at and least enjoy.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Some people are going to be better at acquisitions or dispositions. And, I do think you should learn all of the things. I think you should do all of them. Similar to your friend who she was doing a rehab. I think you should have some kind of an idea what and how that stuff works so that you're not getting taken advantage of, but also, then so that you can manage people. So cool. What is the number 2 thing that you must be doing in your business to make sure that you're being successful? The first one was marketing. What's number 2?
The second one is don't be a one-trick pony.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
So I see a lot of people, especially in the beginning, they I love having focus. I love the rule of singularity. However, coming in and only knowing one deal structure, I think actually very much hinders your success. And the reason, I'll just give like 2 examples and then I'll give my reason why. Let's say that you only know how to wholesale, you only know fix and flip, you only know BRRRR. Well, the problem with this is you're only applicable to like 5%, 7% of the people that you're talking to. So like 93% of everybody whom you're going to be talking to, when it comes to your viability to the marketplace, nobody cares what you do. You cannot solve their problem. You serve them in no aspect. And so ignore, like they're just going to move on to somebody who can actually help them. I think that being educated with multiple deal structures, both entrance and exit, now you have market viability, if you will. You can help more people, therefore you do more deals, therefore you make more money each year.
I think it's so important because we're all a member of certain groups on the internet, on Facebook, and they try to like just shoehorn in this one strategy, make every single strategy fit into this. And that's crazy. And I think it does harm to you. It does harm to the seller. It gets very difficult. Like you're reaching around your butt to scratch your elbow. Like it's not natural. Right. I think, like you said, you have to understand different deal types or exit types so that you can apply that to the seller situation. Because our job here as investors is to make things better, not to make things more complicated or worse than they already are. So yeah, you should understand what an assignment of contract is and who that's the right strategy for. Sometimes it might be a novation, other times it could be sub two, maybe it's a owner finance deal, maybe in some cases I don't love them, but maybe it's a lease option. But
Mhm.
you want to be able to match and match the seller situation and also their needs. It's not their
Yep.
needs are really what comes first, not mine,
That's
right?
exactly right. I
Right.
love what you just said. I want to when I teach people about deal structure, I actually have a process. It's a
Mhm.
three-step process, and it starts with the seller because first and foremost, they're the ones who have the house. If it's
Mhm.
not, think about win-win situation, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to say yes if it's not a win for them. We're not going to say yes if we're not
Mhm.
going to make money on the house. Let's just be
Yeah.
frank. And so, but who's the first person there? It's them. They're the one
Yeah.
who has the house. It must
Right.
transfer. So it must first serve the seller, and then secondly, it must serve the business. If the
Mhm.
business doesn't make any money, then how can the business serve us? We
Right.
have a business that every aspiring entrepreneur or every entrepreneur I've ever met. Why did we create a business?
Mhm.
Ultimately, it wasn't so that we could have a job. It's so
No.
that we could have some sort of either money freedom, like
Mhm.
passive income, or time freedom, or choice freedom.
Yeah.
Those are the three things that I see. And we didn't do it for a job. So the business has to make money. But then that's the second thing. And then the third thing is it must serve us, right? So
Right.
a lot of the times, actually, I was just on an amazing call with some of our private clients. Somebody was sharing their deal and they wanted to do one exit strategy, and me in
Mhm.
my circumstances right now, my season, I would choose a different exit strategy. And then a great friend of mine was like, y'all are crazy, I would do this one, why are we not
Yeah.
doing this one?
Yeah.
And all three of them great options, but at the end of the day, for our own personal reasons, every single one of them made money, the business
Sure.
was good.
Yeah.
But for our own personal reasons, when it comes to uh, what we believe the market is going to
Mhm.
do,
Mhm.
or our own capacity within our business and personnel, or our own mental bandwidth, what we're capable of doing right now, we each chose a different exit strategy, and it was
Interesting.
really cool. It was
Yeah.
a great conversation just to show that we're all different people, and given the same exact house and the same exact
Mhm.
timing within economics, we would choose three different exit
Yeah.
strategies.
I wonder what that's wonderful and exactly the reason why you should be in groups like yours and in that kind of mastermind environment where you can get, feedback from other people. That's the reason that you join these types of groups because it
Yeah.
it just accelerates your learning curve so fast. Instead of being out there trying to do it on your own. And imagine that person with that deal going through that. Geez, let me just get on the internet and start randomly searching TikTok for
Hmm.
answers, right? Like you could waste 3 weeks of your life when
Yeah.
immediately, just being surrounded by the right people who have done these types of deals, how quickly you can come up with that answer. So
Yeah.
fantastic. All right. What's the third thing that you must be doing in your business to really accelerate it and make sure that you are winning and succeeding?
I think that mastering your craft or
Wow.
refining your craft,
Yeah.
and the one specifically that I would target is sales. Many times you talk
Hmm.
to a salesman and you get a certain vibe, you get a certain feeling. And I dislike this. I think that largely salesmen have been taught very aggressive strategies or
Yeah.
tactics
Yeah.
in order to sell. And
Hmm.
at the end of the day, people are like, "Oh, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game." Well, I have a I agree that there's numbers and you need to have a top of funnel
Sure.
and you have KPIs and conversion and attrition. I understand all of those things and I'm a proponent of all of those things and knowing your numbers and tracking your KPIs. However, I do believe that the best salesman is never going to feel salesy,
Hmm.
and he's going to do basically just ask a ton of questions.
Yeah.
And I believe in my heart of hearts that sales is nothing more than very effective communication. Me asking this question. Yes, you need to learn how to hold sales frame, if you will.
Yeah.
You have to understand the psychology of sales and of communication. However, it really is just like a doctor. When you come in, I love giving this analogy. Somebody has a headache
Hmm.
and they come into the emergency room to the triage nurse and they say, "I have a headache." Should the nurse take them back to the surgeon? Well, most people, like 90 something percent of people, say, no, he has a headache. Like, make him sit down.
Yeah.
Give him some ibuprofen, if anything. Well, here's the thing. What if what if after asking him a couple more questions, you found out he's a motorcycle rider. He just laid his bike down 3 blocks away. He hit his head on the curb
Yeah.
and he has a brain aneurysm.
Yeah.
And you're just going to give him some ibuprofen and like just move on. Hold on. Ask some better questions.
Right.
And so refining your craft, getting really good at asking questions, knowing what
Yep.
those questions are.
I had a mentor who said, good questions get good answers. Right. So that's 100%, ask those great probing questions, because again, we are here to make it better. I get it. We want to make money. Clearly we're all in this to make money, but you can't be a complete psychopath, right? We have to actually care about these people. These are
Yeah.
real people that have real problems, and it's, really something that's keeping them up at night. And it's okay to dig in a little bit and try to figure out what their issue is, and then present them with some options, right?
Yeah.
Like I love presenting 3 options. The power of 3. People feel like they need to pick one as opposed to 1 or 2 options. So yeah, I mean, hey, Keith, here's sounds like this is what's going on. Great. Let me reiterate that, maybe reframe it just a little bit. But hey, there are a couple of actually ways that I can help you. You tell me what would work best for you. Right? Obviously, all 3 of those are going to work for me too, but that feels much less, intrusive, because I've had salespeople that were really, I'm telling you, I had this one guy, his name was Michael. If anybody ever had a silver tongue, this guy did. And I don't think he did it on purpose, but he was so good over the phone. He could talk people into doing anything. But frequently what would happen is 2 days later, a week later, these people would be like,
seller's remorse.
I don't want to sell this house. Like I do not think he legitimately did it on purpose. I just think he was so good over the phone. It almost made me uncomfortable to listen. But yeah, we had a huge fallout because it just wasn't ultimately what they wanted, but he could convince them, at least in the moment, to sign the contracts.
Yeah. I think that a lot of that has to do with a proper diagnosis. Imagine going in, let's continue with this analogy of they send you back to the surgeon, and then the surgeon asks no further questions in order to diagnose what's wrong. And he just starts like cutting you open. You cannot have a proper prognosis without a proper diagnosis.
Right.
Right. And so your 3 questions, it can't just be, your 3 suggestions cannot be just any old 3 or the top 3 that we want. Narrowing it down in order to solve their true problem. What people tell you is their problem is often not actually the real problem. It's the surface value problem, but it's not the deeper reason why. And uncovering that, man, I'm extremely blunt on the phone. Extremely. I'm never rude or disrespectful or unloving in any way. However, I will tell you exactly what is on my mind. And it's almost refreshing. In a humorous way, we are so, what's the correct word? PG these days. PG, not PG. PC, politically correct. We're so politically correct, and I am not. Again, not disrespectful, not unloving, not saying that you need to be rude, but I will ask the uncomfortable questions. And I'm actually really comfortable asking the uncomfortable questions because at the end of the day, and there's softening statements and everything that I'll lead up to the question with, hey, I need to ask you a really weird question. Is that okay? It's going to be a little bit I'm letting you know right now. Straight up, this relationship with your spouse, or like, let's just get to the heart of the issue. And it's like, then you find out, wow, there's abuse, or there's substance abuse, or there's whatever it is. And it's like, oh, now I understand why you needed to sell in 2 weeks and not 2 months. And now that I know this, I can help you in more ways than just selling your house. Let me advocate for this, that, the other thing.
Yeah, boy, we could do a whole thing just on that, asking uncomfortable questions, because getting to that point, that's again where we can really get to the heart of the matter and, make sure that we're solving the right problem. So I absolutely love that. All right, listen, I know we packed a ton of value. If you guys are watching this, comment below that this is absolute fire. This is good stuff. Keith, what is the best way for people to get a hold of you so they can hear more of this kind of stuff and get more content and maybe even learn from you direct?
Great. Best way is going to be going to my website, www.reiautomated.io/demo, or hit me up on any social media. Best social media is probably my LinkedIn, which is just my name, Keith Gillispie.
Automated. Okay, cool. I just put that in the chat. reiautomated.com/demo.
Nope. Sorry. .io.
.io.
Yep. reiautomated.io. It's a tech company.
Let me see
Can't do .com.
All right. REI automated.io/demo. Sorry, I got it right.
There we go. Thank you.
Make sure you guys go to the right place because this is amazing stuff. And if you want me to have Keith back on to talk about more stuff, make sure you comment below, like, follow, do all of the